Hey Trelawney, it's Lady D, reaching you straight from New York with love. Catch me every week on Fit FM 96.7 in Stuart Castle, Duncan's Trelawney, Jamaica. It's Voices with Lady D on Linkage Radio, streaming live on YouTube. Join me Monday for the Monday Drive from 5 to 7 p.m. and Friday for Center Stage from 5 to 7 p.m. And me just want to know who under the mango tree with an iPhone, iPad, and transistor radio? Because trust me, you can't afford to miss the show. Music vibes and real talk every time. Voices with Lady D, where every voice has power. Stay locked in. Trelawney, me love no bad.
Minister Patrick Tyson and Brother Claver Schrouter, in collaboration with Sister Lemuel Hunt, presents A Taste of Heaven on Earth Part 2 on Saturday, September 13th, 2025, to be held at the Bronxwood International Church of God, located at 3232 Lurton Avenue in the Bronx, featuring Minister Judith Gale, Minister O'Shane Mays from out of Jamaica, Minister Claver Schrouter, Minister Dwight Schrouter, Brother Tajay Nichols, aka Singer Wayne, and Sister Shakira. Tickets adults $40, children $25. Doors open at 5 p.m. Showtime 6 p.m. sharp. Your MCs for the evening will be yours truly, Minister Patrick Tyson and Lady D. A part of the proceeds from this event will go to Bronxwood International Church of God Carpet Project. This event is sponsored by Cooler Runnings Jamaican Restaurant. For tickets and more information, you can contact Minister Tyson at 347-961-6785 or Minister Claver Schrouter at 914-336-0623.
Ready for real talk and powerful conversations? Then subscribe to Voices with Lady D on YouTube, where culture meets commentary and the diaspora speaks loud and clear. Don't just scroll. Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and tap the bell so you never miss a moment. From laughter to legacy, it's all happening here. Voices with Lady D, where every voice has power.
I want to say congratulations to Mrs. Denise Gomez Green, aka Lady D. Congratulations, my friend. 17 years of excellence in broadcasting and dedicated service to the fraternity. What an, incredible milestone. Lady D, your voice has been a beacon of inspiration and enlightenment and encouragement to countless listeners. Listen, man, your unwavering commitment, passion, and authenticity have made a lasting impact, shaping conversations and uplifting hearts with every single broadcast. You have built a legacy of trust, professionalism, and meaningful storytelling, and your dedication to the craft is truly, truly commendable. I commend you, my friend. May this anniversary be a celebration of all the lives you've touched, the wisdom you've shared, the countless moments of connection that you've fostered. Wishing you continued success, abundant blessing, and many more years of influential broadcasting. Congratulations on this remarkable achievement. Congratulations. 17 years, girl. Keep moving forward, man. God bless you. Peace out. I'm Dr. D. Roy from Geo365 Radio and Web TV. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lady D. God bless you.
Celebrate the heartbeat of Caribbean culture with Saturday Morning Runnings. Join us on Saturday at 10 a.m. on YouTube as we showcase the vibrant heritage of Jamaica and the wider Caribbean with four incredible women: Sherns, Max, Jackie, and yours truly, Lady D. From powerful stories to cultural traditions, we're bringing the flavor, rhythm, and excellence of the Caribbean straight to you. It's more than a show, it's a celebration of the roots and traditions that inspire and unite us. Subscribe to Voices with Lady D on YouTube and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn to stay connected. Every Saturday at 10 a.m. It's Saturday Morning Runnings. Come feel the vibes. Saturday Morning Runnings, where Caribbean heritage comes alive. This Saturday's topic: more than pretty, what a man seeks in his queen. Fellas, it's your turn at the mic. Ladies, you might want to lean into. This Saturday, we're flipping the script. We've heard what women want, but now it's time to hear from the men. What does a man really desire in a life partner? Beauty, ambition, peace, purpose, prayer? Join us for a real, raw, and relevant conversation. It's more than curves and chemistry. It's about calling, character, and connection. Saturday Morning Runnings, where culture meets conversation. Voices with Lady D, where every voice has power. Don't miss it. Saturday, July 19th at 10 a.m. on YouTube. Subscribe, share, and bring a friend. This one's gonna be good. Mhm. Morning, morning,
Good morning.
morning,
Good
morning,
morning. Good morning.
morning. RJ, I see you smiling. Morning,
Morning, good morning.
morning.
Morning. Morning. Should I be looking closer for my husband or something? You said 1, 2, 3. Wait there. People sexy, sir. Man. What are we about sexy this morning? I want them ever see you. The birthday is shining. The birthday is shining. I know, right? It's coming through. Now that we have the full view of everybody. Oh, these are young men. Okay.
Yes, Jackie. Mm-hmm. Morning, everyone. Welcome, everyone.
I'm just messing.
So good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Saturday Morning Runnings. I'm your host, Lady D Denise Gomez Green, and welcome to another vibrant edition. I tell you, where culture meets conversation. And I'm so glad you're here with us on this wonderful, beautiful, fantastic Saturday morning. We are here live on Voices with Lady D. Today we're stepping into a topic that's got depth, heart, and just the right dose of truth and vibes. We've heard what women want a few weeks ago, but today we're turning the spotlight on the brothers, and they're here in their numbers. Our theme this morning is more than pretty, what a man seeks in his queen. It's a statement, it's not a question.
Did you send out the link? I need to send the link to someone.
And listen, it's not just about looks. We're talking peace, we're talking purpose, we're talking prayer, and partnership. We've got a panel of young men joining us who are ready to keep it real and share what truly matters when it comes to love, dating, and choosing a life partner. So we want you to sip some chocolate tea, some Milo tea, some
Busy.
easy leaf of life, thyme, mango, every leaf you can find that can make a tea. We want you to sip. We'd like you to share the link because it's time to, run something, spawn the runnings right here on Saturday morning runnings where culture meets conversation. And so we want to say, guys, on a look ready. And we want to talk up the things this morning. So again, I'm your host, Lady D. Denise Gomez Green. I'd like to welcome to the platform. Let's do this so everybody can see you nice and clear. We so much this morning on a look little bit, but we know no little. So we want to go to the solo layout and say good morning to Dylan Valentine. Morning, Dylan.
Good morning, everyone.
And
good morning, Dylan.
In a few minutes, I'll ask you to introduce yourself, but I'm just doing, the spotlight right now. Also, good morning to, come to me. All right. Also, good morning to Camroy. Camroy, how you do?
I'm great.
Nice to see you. Welcome to the platform. You will have fun. It's laughter, talk, and so much more. So no worry. We'll help you out if you freeze. Also want to say good morning to, where is he now? He's right here. To RJ. RJ, morning to you. How you do?
Good morning. I'm good.
Nice. Welcome to Saturday mornings. Just in case you're like, how is that spelled? You've ever heard Saturday spelled like Satideh before?
Today's the first day, so I'm
There
learning.
you go. add it to your vocab.
Yes.
Yes.
So there's the first in everything, eh?
Right. And then we're gonna hop on over to let me see.
Where's Mike? Michael was on.
Yeah, man, Mike is here.
I don't see him.
Mike, please put yourself back on camera. You're behind the scenes. Add yourself back. All right. So here he is now.
Hey,
welcome, Mike. How are you?
Great to be here to have a great conversation.
Yes, please. And this is not your first go.
No. The first conversation was an awesome one, and I'm glad to be invited back to talk with these distinguished young brothers.
I tell you, it should be quite the conversation. And let's see. So all our guests are accounted for. And so I hop on over to my girl who is in the salubrious island of Jamaica. Breeze a blow right there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Happy Saturday.
Yeah.
Is it the smile and the happiness, Lady
Let
D?
me tell you, man. I am in my happy place.
The showing off.
Yes.
I am in my happy place. My happy place.
I know.
Yes. So we want to say
Saturday to everybody. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Michael, for coming on. I appreciate you guys. I love y'all.
Love you too.
And RJ and Camroy. Nice to meet you, young man.
all righty. And of course, we have our good old girl right here. Her name so happens to be Max. Hey, Maxie. Morning.
Hey. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday morning. Welcome, guys. Thank you all for joining. You're in for a treat, I promise you.
Yes.
And I know that we are in for a treat too.
Absolutely. And then there is my girl Jax, who has been so busy she managed to creep in this morning.
Listen to me. You can probably still hear the sleep in my voice. I didn't get home until Minister 3. It seemed like that's my regular hours nowadays. This morning, after an eventful night, patient coded, patient jumping over the bed rails, that kind of stuff. And then, to come home, and as soon as I parked the car, the sprinklers came on, and who got wet from head to toe? Yes.
That was the pre-shower. That was pre-shower.
Maybe never after shower I came inside, but I did anyway.
Right. So let's
it happens, girl. It happens.
Yes. So welcome to the show this morning, everyone. More Than Pretty, What a Man Seeks in His Queen. It's Saturday morning runnings. And we invite you to share the link with someone. So guys, while you're on, you can share the link if possible. Most of you are using your laptops or your computers or so on, but you can share the link with the people in your network and let them hear how you're going to talk up the things with us this morning. We also hop on over each and every Saturday morning and welcome our guests. And look who was first in line this morning. Sister Morrison is here. Good morning, Lady D and friends. She says, congratulations to Lady D, blessings in abundance. Thank you, Sister Morrison. Also, husband is here this morning. Wow, the big screen TV full of pretty and handsome people.
Of course.
Mr. Evergreen and Lovey's in the house. Good morning, everyone. And let's see, the King of Kings, not in the heavenly realm now, is here. His name is Ryan Wallace. Morning, King. And Patrick is here. Morning, sir. How are you? Welcome. Also, Lord, King says, Lord, help class full. Lovely says, thanks, Lady D, for the men forum. Big up to the single men. Yes, bro. The women talk up the things the other day, and so it's their time to talk up the things this morning. Morning to my niecey. Good morning, Minty. Welcome. She called me Auntie Sexy. So if you don't see that word there, that's what that means. Deneen. Hi, Deneen. Good morning to you. And all right, so let's kick off. So yesterday I celebrated birthday, and I'm continuing for the weekend and right throughout the month and the year. Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yes. So birthday are gone. And thing, I had a
happy birthday again.
Birthday yesterday. Thank you. Had a nice time, and it's super special because I had husband with me. May I tell you?
So this is the first birthday with husband.
Yes. So
awesome.
Yeah, since marriage, but last year, he was courting me. He says over there in that producer.
Oh yes.
So big things are gone, but we're happy. Thank you, Sister Morrison. So let's start the conversation. Gentlemen, you ready?
Yes.
So on this platform, we just talk. It's not scripted. We just pop out stuff and you just respond and you share accordingly. And so we're looking forward. 2 Saturdays ago, we had Lainey, Marcy, and Cliffy on. And they're all from our church, New Testament Temple Church of God. And we thought, along with Sharik, who is Shakira's daughter, and that was great. We had her first, and then we thought we should bring her back and kind of give some little wise counsel from a younger perspective of the dating process and leading into marriage and so on. And we tried to pull this together last Saturday, but unsuccessfully because everybody busy and life happened. But this week, it worked out perfectly. So want to say, hey, good morning, guys. So we're kicking it off because we know that the girls said that in the dating world, it's not easy for a lot of reasons. And we know that guys have their own periphery and the girls have their own. And so the coming together is where the moving parts become many. So More Than Pretty, we're asking you this morning, but it's also a statement what a man seeks in his queen. So I would like to just put some icebreakers out there this morning, and Jackie and Sharon's and Max, you can all revive as usual. But I'd like to warm up our guests, and they can drop in the chat, whether married or not. I want you to finish. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. I want you to finish this first sentence, and this is for the audience. My ideal first date, you can share in the chat what that was like or what you anticipate it to be when you meet that person. Or would you rather marry a woman who can burn the kitchen or burn in prayer? You know, what's the biggest dating myth men wish women would stop believing? Name a female celebrity you admire, not just for looks, but for character, presence, all of those simple things. You can just, you can, no, that's all right. I'll drop it in the chat so you can see what the question is. But those are just some simple icebreakers. And then we get into the core of the discussion, which I believe would kick off. And Jack, Max, and Sharon Z, you can chime in here about attraction versus alignment, you know, because we want to focus on the initial appeal versus long-term values. And so the question, my first question would be, what attracts you first, gentlemen? Looks, vibes, values, and you can add the rest. So let's start the conversation. Who would like to take it first?
Anybody? No.
I'll jump
Mike.
in.
So, Mike, you're representing, you want to define and introduce yourself. So now this is where we start.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Morning, everyone. My name is Michael Nelson. I'm a teacher. Been a teacher for the last 11 years. I come from a long line of teachers and educators. And I'm also a minister at Bronxwood International Church of God, my home church for many, many years. And it's great to be here. I do ministry with children. I do evangelism and many other ministry activities. And I'm blessed to do so. And you know, I think as far as your question, right? What is the first thing that one sees? And I think you know it'd be easy to say, right, you know, vibes and this and personality and all that is in person, but you know, I think oftentimes the first thing you see is someone physically, right? And I think oftentimes that can be attractive, that can bring someone in, but I think though that might be the first thing that can draw you close to someone, that is by no means a deciding factor, right? People say that men are visual creatures. And so, you know, a well put together, beautiful woman is attractive, of course. And, you know, but that's just the start, you know, and, you know, and obviously when you see, I think I can speak for all of us, you know, but I won't obviously, but I think
right.
you look at, you see good looks, but you know, I think many of us, we see how the woman operates, right? How she talks, and you can see in a woman her personality, right? Like her level of outgoingness or well-spokenness, right? How she carries herself. And I think I would say that's probably the number one thing, probably the most attractive thing about a woman that draws it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. And your marital status?
Single.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All righty. So welcome, RJ. What say you?
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm RJ, or Rohan Cassels. I'm a director at a local nonprofit. Spent some time in the financial services industry. I'm a member, a longtime member, almost my whole life, in New Testament Temple Church of God, where I help out with the youth ministry, finance ministry, as well as the music ministry as well too, and worship. I would say, you know, similar to Michael, you know, looks initially catches your eye, but what keeps your attention is mannerisms, is character, how she, you know, relates to people, talks to people, how she situations, just mannerisms and presence. You can learn a lot about someone by just observing. So while looks can initially attract someone, you can become unattracted by things that you don't like from their character, and vice versa. You can become more attracted by things on the inside rather than the outside. And I do believe that is the most important too, because looks change, beauty fades, but the character is what keeps you in the long run together.
Okay. And your marital status?
I'm not married.
No. Okay. So let's hop on over to Dylan. How are you, Dylan?
Doing well. I'm doing well. All right. Introductions. Yes, my name is Dylan Valentine. I'm currently a grad student at Pentecostal Theological Seminary. I'm doing mental health counseling. Currently, I work in my family business. My dad owns a Jamaican restaurant, so I just help him out there. As for my church status, I go to Bronxwood International Church of God, along with Michael over there. And I kind of help out wherever it's needed, whether it be the AV department or youth ministries. Sometimes they give me the opportunity to speak at church. So like wherever there's a need, I try to be a good servant. But to answer your question, kind of like what all the other brothers have said, the first thing that attracts me about women is how they look, like just off the bat, just naturally. Now, will that make me stay? Will that make me want to pursue them? Not really, but that does make my eyes a little bit shifted towards them, how they keep themselves. I'm not saying they have to like wear makeup and all these different types of things. Those things are nice, but do you put enough self-care into how you portray yourself? That initially attracts me, and then over time it will be just how you carry yourself, modesty, your do you, or I think the word now that people use is like demure. Do you carry yourself with a certain type of demure, or are you just boisterous, disrespectful, all these different types of things? Those things make me want to go away, but after just the initial attraction, just the modesty and the demure is what really attracts me.
Okay, very clear. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you. Great. And of course, we come on over to Kemroy. Morning, Kemroy.
Good morning.
Yes. What say you?
Let me introduce myself. I'm Kemroy Dennis. I'm a member of the New Testament Temple Church of God. And I'm a part of the evangelism ministry. And what I do for work, I do electrical. I'm an electrician by trade. And I do electrical work. And to answer your question, I would say what attracts a man to a woman is her modesty and purity, how she carries herself, how she speaks modestly, her godly character, her character, that attracts like, a Christian man. So Christian woman is like the godly character, purity, and the way she carries herself and present herself with class and dignity. So that those type of stuff attracts a Christian man to a woman.
Okay. And your marital status at this time?
I am single.
Okay. Thank you. All righty. So let's start the conversation now. So we've asked everyone to share, what your perceptions are and so on. And we know in this dating world here in this century, it ain't easy. Some of us grew up in a time when men were approachable. They would just walk up to a woman and talk up the things. Lyrics.
But respectfully.
But respectfully, right?
Yeah.
And so here you are now, it's 2025, and you're single. So Sharon's Max Jackie, what would you like to chime in here to ask the guys so the conversation flow begins?
There are a few commonalities between, what each of these gentlemen have said. And I'm just thinking, if they're all single at this stage, then they're not seeing what they're stated here in the women that they probably would pursue.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong. And a lot of the statements are geared towards seeking a Christian woman. But you do have women who are attractive, who are not Christians out there. They're attractive and they might fit the bill, but they might not be Christians or practicing Christians. Because I say to people, if you're not Buddhist, if you're not Muslim, you're not anything else, and you're closer to the Christian faith, even if you're not going to church, then you're Christian. You know, so I'm saying maybe we should look not only in the,
I see Mike turning his head
not
here.
only in the Christian scope. Don't just look in the church, because maybe you're not even going to find your wife in the church. So
okay. The question is, are they looking? That's my question to them. Are they looking? Because you can have a lot of nice women around in your church, outside of your church, but are you looking? Are you pursuing? Are you talking?
Are you interested?
Are you approaching? Are you approaching? Are you approaching? That's the question.
Are you actually interested in a partner?
Absolutely.
Because nowadays they're saying that a lot more young men are quite comfortable staying by themselves. To the point where, listen, this is a show where we want this show interactive. So therefore, I'm going to also say they're very comfortable satisfying themselves, if you know what I mean. You understand? So they're not going to go out and seek a woman. And I've spoken to a few men who have said that. So take it from there.
Yes.
Okay. So Maxie, what say you?
Another thing too, guys. Yes, you're in a particular church, but if you're also looking, then you also need to visit other denominations or other churches, because if you're just sitting in your church and you're looking around and everybody in your circle, right, in your church is taken, or they're married, or you're not interested, or they're not fitting your type or the kind of person you're looking for, then you also have to look in other churches. You visit other churches and so it's there. And that's really very important. We can't just sit in our house and say we need a man or we need a woman and we ain't going out there to look. You got to look. And you know, when you go with your list of the type of person you're looking for. And if the list doesn't fit, if you have to change the list, then you change the list. You might be saying, okay, I need a girl who's tall and slim with long blonde hair, but when you look, you don't see one of those types. Then you go for the second person on your list. Okay, I'll take one that is short with a bald head. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes they don't fit into what you're looking for, but it's not just looks as was mentioned before. It's not just looks, it's also character, deportment, respect. All of those things matters. And somebody who can cook your sumptuous meal. Because a lot of times men pick up women who are pretty and I say them can't, then burn up water to try to pick up a tea. See what I'm saying? And I'm being honest and be truthful. And you guys, you ladies, you understand that.
Yes.
You know, so it's everything, but it's also someone who can feed you. Because the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. That's what I was told.
All right, Sharonzy. So I'll go over. I'll allow Sharonzy to chime in here, and then guys, you can start sharing about some of the things that you are doing, have done, and let's bring it into: is it the more than pretty? What are you seeking in that queen that you're looking for? So Sharon's, go ahead.
Okay, well, listening to these fine gentlemen here, the common thread that runs through each of their introduction is that they want somebody, you know, who is attractive but modest, and you know, so on and so forth. And those are all qualities that I know for a fact is necessary. You want somebody who is eye candy for you. There's always, God has so made the female body in that You know, somebody may go for face, they may go for a pretty face, somebody may go for a pretty figure. You have persons who are chest people, you have people who like butt, who like hips, who like and we have to be honest about it. You know what I mean? Because if you're gonna be not it, the promise is that you're gonna be with this person for life. So you have to have something. And I mean, this person have to tickle your fancy, whatever your fancy is. So that's the physical part. Of course, like Dylan said, you want to make sure that, you know, the person is also attractive on the inside, you know, their face. You know what I mean? Sometimes a girl might not be that quote unquote pretty face, but her ways are so charming and she's industrious. She's, you know, you might find that she's a Proverbs 31 woman. And the good Lord would so have it that you will start finding that person who was quote unquote not that attractive. She was not like bang, just jumping out at you in the beginning. You might end up finding her to be very attractive. You know what I mean? You know, they say beauty is deceptive, and what is it? Beauty is vain, but the woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. So sometimes that will overcome, because sometimes, you know, as mothers and as a mother of a daughter, as mothers, we have to realize that we have to groom our young ladies to be all that these gentlemen are looking for. I have a friend who had given a younger couple. They had given birth to a little girl, and we met up and we were talking. And the husband said, "You know what I'm praying for most of all for my daughter?" And we were saying, you know, education, money, this. And he said, "No, I'm praying for a husband for her from now." We're talking about a small child, and he said he's praying for a helpmeet, a good husband for her from now. So sometimes we prepare, or we should prepare our young women. You know, if we happen to have one who is, you know, pretty and just jump out at you and all that, the person's ways might not match up. And I'm not sure if it's RJ, but one of them had said, you know, the person may be, you know, beautiful or whatever, ways are less than desirable. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, sometimes women, I'm not going to say get a bad rap, because they kind of walk into it where, because they are all that and a bag of chips, the behavior is not there, or they don't work on their personal development. You know, as Max said, they're going to burn water. They don't work on their personal development to be able to prepare a simple meal. They don't have to be a gourmet chef, but be able to do all that. Back in my day growing up, and I'm going to date myself now, but back in the day growing up, there was a class in school called personal development. And I went to a girl. I did that. Yeah, we were groomed to be wives. We were groomed to have certain qualities. And then, you know, our parents and our aunties and all those people who had a hand in upbringing would make sure, like Jackie can bake at the drop of a hat. Her grandmother made sure at her elbow, right at her knees, she learned these things. So you have, beside the pretty looks and all that, qualities that you be able to carry on. And also, you know, you fellas, you may feel like you're not ready and nobody's forcing you or should force you. But if you feel like you need to develop your own self, because somebody is saying it's 50-50. It's not 50-50. Both of you have to come with 100%. You have to be like when two planets collide. You got to be like, bang, it's the time. Here we are. I'm bringing half, and me bringing half. You got to bring the whole enchilada, bring the whole thing. And then you can be successful. So if you feel like you want to work on yourself, whether mentally, physically, socially, whatever, because sometimes, you know, guys, I don't want to take up the whole time, but sometimes guys will kind of hang on to the side and not approach a girl, and then she gets swept away by somebody else. So in your waiting and in your development, you know, if you think you're at least attracted to that person, make an approach, no matter how subtle it is. Back in my day, my husband started giving me notes, little love notes and things of that nature.
You're laughing.
Cracking speaking of
something hit a chord right there, Dylan. Say it.
Yeah, that kind of thing might be outdated, but I want to tell that even though I have some of these love notes for 40 plus years now, and I still like them. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
so,
yes.
I'm sure.
Anyway.
So now, guys, we want to hear from you, because this is the objective of the show, to hear where your challenges are. How do you make an approach? Are you ready? Are you preparing yourselves? Because we discussed with the young woman that a lot of times they're taught that you're to look a man, and that's the term because that's the culture we come from. You're to look a man who he's educated, will be a provider and all of that. But behind the scenes, that young woman needs to work on herself, work on her deportment, work on her character, work on how she'll be able to speak to you and speak to you right. Work on how she's able to manage how she socializes. There are so many different variables involved. So as you are looking on, even if you say, boy, I like that girl, but the more you look, it's the more you're seeing other things that kind of make you say, and before you know it, you either you don't pursue her, or if you do, it's maybe with an intention to help to change her. Because women tend to do that too, because we're nurturers by nature. So sometimes we'll say, all right, maybe he's not as sociable and so on. I can perhaps take him out when I'm going out and help him along. And before you know it, things not going well. It's not going well. So we want your truth to tell us, because they need to hear. Young women need to hear what a man who is really diligent but struggling to find that person, and expectations as well play a critical role in this. My expectation of you is that I expect you to measure up, but sometimes they're not there. They're not ready yet. And if young women are not in a place where they are being counseled well and helped along, they meet you and the whole thing fall apart. So I want to hear from you. Let's talk.
So there's a lot there, a lot on the phone.
Yeah.
Of that, of these questions. I don't, I think I might be the oldest of the men here. I don't know, but I think that I think so much has changed, even in my lifetime, in terms of what the culture says a man or a woman should be looking for, and how men and women relate. Even how they meet each other, right? You talk about lyrics and meeting them, right? There was a time when most people met each other, right, like in public, in person, right?
Oh God, yeah.
And now that's shifted so much, right?
Yes.
And where to the point where a large chunk of people are meeting each other online, virtually, right, through dating apps, things like that. And I think and that shifts the way people relate, right? And by nature, right, like especially with if you're using a lot of dating apps, oftentimes you're meeting, you're dating, or you're talking to strangers oftentimes, right? People you don't have mutual connections with, right? And so the dating landscape has changed so much, and and a lot of things are affecting dating, right? Like the economic situations, right? People right? The economy makes it such that people are very focused on someone's financial status and so on and so forth. So these things matter. I would say personally, I've realized in my experiences that I guess for me as a Christian, right, because that narrows it down for me. And Jackie, I'll speak to something you mentioned, right, about someone who is, I would say there's a difference between someone who's not a Buddhist and not a Muslim and not a this or that, right? I wouldn't necessarily say that person is a Christian, right? And because for me, I think that a relationship with Jesus is something that matters to me and is the central thing that I'm looking for in someone whom I want to be married with, right? Not just a, how would you put it? Just because they don't check the other boxes, they fall under this category, right? No,
well, actually, that's not really what I meant, that they fall into that category. I say if they are aligned closer to the Christian faith. Say I grew up in a Christian household, but I'm going to just use me as an example, just use myself. So I grew up in a Christian household and I went out there as a young woman out into the world. I wasn't practicing. I went to, I used to party with my friends and so on. I wasn't a practicing Christian. So that's what I was talking about. So you're lying closer to that faith. It's just that you're not practicing. That's
right.
That's what I was saying.
That's how I guess I understood what you were saying. So I think for me, right, I want to be with someone who is chosen Jesus and is a practicing Christian.
So Mike, if I may ask you, Mike.
Yes.
So how is the dating? Have you been dating? Have you dated for some time? Are you dating?
I have, yeah. And I would say, I came back to Christ in 2019, and initially, I was in a relationship with someone who wasn't a Christian, a very strong Christian at that point. That relationship ended, and then didn't date for maybe 2 years, 2 to 3 years, right? Just to focus on Christ, focus on my spiritual development and growth, right? Mm-hmm. And then started to look, to test the waters and meet people and seek, and and I think with the trial and error of dating, I realized that yes, it is important to have someone whose values match yours in terms of spiritual.
And especially somebody in your position, Michael, I wouldn't encourage you to step outside that box, because it would be terrible. It would really be hard to adjust. Right. And that person would probably find it very, strange, and it would become a strain.
Yeah.
So I would not recommend, going outside of that box to somebody like you.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I may move on here, because we really want to hear the guys sharing their hearts. So RJ, let's talk with you a little bit.
Sure.
What is the dating scene like for you?
Well, I'd say I'd take a step back from that question and say what has worked, what works, and is the right, I guess, order for a man to pursue is, he has to know the Lord, because ultimately the marriage will be a 3-strand cord between husband, wife, and the Lord in the middle. And as the leader of the household, as the priest of the household, as men, we have to constantly be able to hear the Lord in terms of direction for the house, for the wife, for the children, for the business. But that comes by knowing the word. And of course, we'll never fully know the depths of the Lord's mind or knowledge, but at least be committed to a life that's led by the Lord. And then when you know the Lord, you get to know how he made you. So knowing yourself. It is hard to look for a partner when you don't know yourself, because you don't know the state to which the character will fit into your characteristics, into your mold, your makeup, mantra, things like that. So having a firm, biblically based identity where you not only know the Lord, but know yourself, know how to communicate who you are to a woman. If you find that you're in a position where you're constantly trying to figure out who you are and changing it, it may confuse a woman as you're bring something to her that may change in the next week or month or so. So I would say having that down. Knowing your purpose on earth, knowing your mission. I believe marriage is much more than love. It's about having perfect partners, people who are going to be side by side and executing a mission on earth. So knowing that mission and communicating that mission too, because, you know, a wife is going to be a helpmate. So she has to see what she's buying into, what she's submitting to ultimately. And so I believe, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have your dream job yet or have that perfect job, but at least on the path where you're either working towards it or have something that lights a fire under you, keeps you going. So when you know the Lord, when you know yourself, when you know your mission, it eliminates a lot of confusion into who to pursue, because you know the person that fit exactly into that to help you execute that and have a God-fearing marriage.
You're right. Thank you. Dylan, I'll ask the same question of you.
Yes. Ah, could you repeat the question one more time? My mind was just going like a million.
You're there ruminating.
Yeah.
That's the word. But yes, what is the dating scene like for you? Are you pursuing? Do you have an interest in anyone?
Oh wow. All right, cool. All right. So the dating scene, I am not in any type of relationship at the moment.
Okay.
I'm kind of like in between. Like I am trying to build myself up and like focus on my career, my relationship with God, and just like self-care while also keeping my eyes open. I felt like for a while, like I was kind of like not even like the dream person could have walked right past me. I wouldn't have known because I'm just like focusing on myself. But now my eyes have been shifted outward a little bit. I'm just like, okay, I'm focusing on God, making sure I have this stable. But also seeing who's around me, going different places, not necessarily with the intent of trying to find a partner, but if somebody who seems to fit that category seems to walk by, I'll be able to see and pursue. Yeah.
So tell me something. Are other young men that are around you guys, are they seeing things the same way as you? Are they speaking the same language as you guys? Are they seeing things the same way? Because listen, out there not easy. TikTok is not easy. What you call it? Facebook and YouTube. Everybody is looking on these platforms for their probably ideal person, or looking at other couples and seeing how they got together, or they live their lives, and that's what is guiding them. Are other young people, young men around you guys speaking the same language as you?
For me, I don't. It's very rare with the young guys that I interact with, you know, because there's a lot of, I'm gonna say, pollution out there. It's a lot of like things that our eyes could be fixed upon, and it could just be a distraction or just unrealistic. One of the things about social media that kind of like urged me to like kind of like take slow steps back was the fact that it certain things that we see in the media, they show the good, but they never really showed that. Right. They show the ideal and the perfect and the fantasy, but they don't. It's not really that real. So you know,
and I'm glad you can recognize that.
And but that really sways away a lot of young guys, because it's just like everybody's looking for the ideal, like, oh man, the perfect body, you know, the perfect face, and you know, all these different types of attributes, and all together in one, the perfect, like almost celebrity ideal person. But in all those things, they kind of like forget about the real things that actually keep a man or keep a person within a relationship long term. There's a lot of short term things, like, you know, I could be with this person, but then after a while, I don't know, the love just left. Say I'm not willing. The
novelty wears off.
Right. So, and that's why I see a lot. Just like short term, just kind of like, you know, once I'm like get tired of you, all right, goodbye, on to the next. There's somebody out there better. But as in like commitment, I'm gonna stay. We're gonna work through this, even if my feelings may not be 100% there. My compassion and my commitment to you would surpass that. Like that's something that I find a little bit more, not 100% more, but a little bit more in more maybe Christian religious circles. So,
circles.
Got you. All right, Camroy, your time. Let's hear from you.
Yes. So the dating scene for me, I'm not dating. I'm not open for the dating scene as yet. I'm taking my time. just focusing on personal development and knowing God more on a deeper level and kingdom work, to serve the Lord in the kingdom. I'm not in a rush. I'm really taking it slow, developing myself, working on myself, still here, and so I'm not in the dating scene like that because just so you know, I've been married before. There's no rush for me personally.
Okay.
And for other guys, I mean, like young guys in the 20s, I don't think they are rushing either. They are more for personal development and self-care and getting to know the Lord on a deeper level and kingdom work, focusing on working in the kingdom of God. So that's my take on it.
Okay, so you brought out something new. You were married before. I didn't know that.
Yes.
So you at least have an idea, of the what comes with it.
Yes.
What happened, if you don't mind, like just a little snippet. You don't have to go into any detail. Do you think you were grounded as you are now, as you speak now? Was the fault yours, or how did you approach your wife then?
Yeah, the part was mine. The part was mine because I didn't know the Lord. I was like on the fence Christian, one Christian. And you cannot, a young man should not marry if he's, nobody should marry if they're low for a man.
Camroy, do me a favor. Lean in a little more to your device.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Thank you.
So what I'm basically
sorry with me because I just turned on my volume. Okay.
It's my fault because I didn't know the Lord much. I didn't have that rooted, grounded relationship with God. So, I blame myself for that. Because you have to be careful of who you pick to be a spouse, You have to pick someone who is committed to the Lord and really rooted and grounded in Christ. Rooted, really know the Bible, really know Jesus personally, and spend a lot of time in the presence of God. So you have to really be careful. It's very serious, very serious. So you really have to be careful of who you marry. Do it God's way. Do it biblically. About relationship, marriage, biblically, it have to be Christ-centered. Christ-centered and a spirit-guided relationship. Or is it not going to work? You have to do it God's way.
Okay. So if I may ask, do you feel pressured, guys? People come up to you and say, boy, time ago, man, because they do that to women.
Yeah.
That's a thing for us, because when I can tell you, when we were growing up, we all had a target age, like by 25, we should be married, the college education, stuff like that. So I want to know now, what is it like for you? Are people coming up and say, boy, time I run out, man, see a nice girl? Because those are common runnings.
Yeah, I'll jump in there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm going to have to go soon. So I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to add a little bit more about what some things that I'm looking for. But for that, as someone who's in the church, I think the conversation is different for women, but there is a lot of pressure, to, and or maybe the word is like direct encouragement to, right? To get married, find someone, be married, right?
Yes.
I think it's well-meaning because they want you to be stable. They know that, as someone who is following God, they want you to be settled and stable and right, not falling into sin. I think it's well-meaning. But there can be a lot of pressure and a lot of questions that come your way. And you know, anytime any girl you talk to for more than 2 minutes, there's a question if that's the one you're looking, you know. And
I know, right?
It can make it a little awkward sometimes.
Yeah.
So I would ask those who care about us, young men and even young women, to guide us and help us and talk to us, but also give us some space in terms of you know, the seeking and the conversation, right? You can notice something, pray into it. You know, you don't always have to talk about it and talk about it in front of everybody and question and this and that. What about you two? You know, in the foyer after church, you know.
It's called anxiety. People are anxious.
Come to us. Talk to us. Ask questions. Ask us lots of questions. And just tell us you're there for us, right? To help us and guide us.
Okay,
right?
I have something.
Quick question.
Real quick. Okay, go.
Michael,
I'm just interjecting very quickly. Do you not just you, Mike, but all you gentlemen, what is the okay, like Lady D says, you know, women might, you know, not just women, but persons might say, you know, see anybody and things like that. What is the interaction with men, with grown men or with married men in the church who you would look up to? Are they giving you guys any snippets of wisdom with regards to the female sex?
And do you have relationships with those men where, you know, the mentoring aspect of it?
Right.
I'll let Mike go, because I know he said he had to go soon.
Yeah, I've got to run, but I would say I've had more of it in the last few years, but probably still not enough. Not enough, you know.
Okay.
I think wanting to I get more of my, you know, and good information, but I get more of my information online from YouTube and, you know, YouTubers.
Okay.
And I don't think it's that they don't want to. I think it's a two-way street. I could probably do a better job of asking and seeking that information.
Right.
And I would love for more of that, you know, explicit verbal communication and guidance on that. You know, I glean a lot from what I see, right? I see the dedicated, always there men who are servants to their families and reliable and committed, and I note those things, right? And that's important. But I wish I got more of that guidance. And I want to say the one thing, a major thing for me that I'm looking for, and now that'll inform the conversation, right? When women say that, you know, they want a leader, a strong leader, someone who is grounded in God and things of that nature, and it comes from, you know, it comes a lot from the scripture. What I am looking for and what I realize works is a woman who is receptive to the things that she is looking for, right?
Yes.
Right. If you are a woman who wants a leader, are you a listener?
All right then.
To who is willing to be led,
Yes.
right? Someone who is a listener,
Absolutely.
more than a talker, right?
Yes.
When it comes to your man, right?
Action speaks louder. Yes.
Right. Are you someone who is willing to learn from a man, right? Who is if I'm to wash you with the water of the word, right? The scripture, and share the scripture. Are you willing? Or are you willing to be taught, right? All of these things, right? Like someone who wants family, someone who is courteous and outgoing, right? In a certain way, but also, right? Dylan used the word demure, but also can be, at least for me, can navigate both sides, can be joyful and happy and good with other people, but also knows how to be relaxed and have good deep conversations.
So you need a balanced woman.
Yeah. Balance. That's it.
A balanced woman.
But
that's very important.
I would love to ask a question before Michael goes. I know you're running, but I have a question here. So what I want to say is that women I know are now proposing to men. What's your take on that? And would you respond to a woman if she should approach you?
Dylan is dying over there.
But it's true, women are not proposing to men.
Because women are more assertive
kind of, what would you do?
Yeah, we're more assertive.
I would say
Yes.
I would not respond to that thing.
Okay.
Okay.
For two reasons, right? It goes back to the leadership part, right? If I'm leading, right, then let's say, right, a woman is proposing, maybe she thinks that I'm not moving fast enough, right? I think conversation and speaking to me about, right, where things are going and what do I want and what would help us to get to that final place, that's important. Once she's proposing, she's not leading.
No, but I think when we're going as far now as to the proposal, maybe we should stick to the portion of like dating. Like a woman may notice that this is the guy that could complete me, or we could complete each other, and he's kind of not too sure, maybe a little shy or whatever, and maybe she just nudge him. Like,
right.
Yeah, but not
think a woman,
to you. Not
I
to
do think
propose.
a woman can come to a man and say, hey, would you like to get get coffee sometime, or
right?
So I think that's fine. I think that's
biblical,
okay. Right?
Yeah, when I say propose, I don't necessarily mean would you marry me? I'm just saying proposing means approaching you. When I say propose, I don't necessarily mean marriage, but proposing meaning say, hey, I like you. Would you like to go out for dinner, or would you like to start dating? Right. That's what I really mean when I say propose. I don't mean go down on a knee and say, would you marry me? Yes, that's what I really meant.
If a woman came up and said, hey, would you like to grab a coffee one day? I think that's acceptable. I think it's biblical too, right? Was it Ruth? Ruth presented herself to Boaz, right?
Boaz, yeah.
She presented herself to him, right? And then things went on from there, right? So I think that's acceptable. Right?
Yeah, and I like the fact that you brought that up, Michael, because she literally laid at his feet. You know what I mean?
Right.
And sometimes the woman is right under your nose, but you might be looking out there. You need to look right here.
Yes.
And somebody else can sort of nudge you. But I think what it is, it has to be subtle.
Yeah.
That's where Mike is coming from. You don't want somebody who just barge in. You would prefer some amount of a subtle move. And I see where co-producer Mr. Eval Green is saying he's willing to mentor the young men in that regard. So
invite me to an event you're going to, right? Like say, hey, I'm going to this thing, right? Would you like to come? Right. That's like an easy, subtle way, right? Of saying, hey, I want to get to know you.
Yes.
Right. No strings attached. Do a Dutch date and something like that. Don't be just wanting to floss all of a sudden. Go ahead, Mike. You're my guy.
Yeah. So
God bless you.
RJ, thank you, Mike. So RJ, I heard yesterday I celebrated birthday, and I'll be quick because I really want to hear from you guys. But yesterday I celebrated birthday, and Evel and I sat down and we chatted. We planned to go somewhere else, but because our foundation is in talking to one another, we enjoyed the meal and chat out the whole evening.
That is so cool.
Which was fine. But, we were just reminiscing and saying, when we first sat down and talked and so on, but he pointed out that he believes that a man should know himself, know what he wants, his pursuits. Because if you do not do that and you meet someone, you can either get sidelined, turned off, and the whole thing goes around.
Yeah.
Knowing yourself is very, very important. Now, here we have gotten to this portion of the conversation about being invited out and all of that. Some women will say men are not as assertive, are not as aggressive, and we have to listen to you. We can assume all we want, but what exactly are you looking for? Are you very, I'll use the word loosely, choosy? Because sometimes, no matter how pretty the face is, there's something that just don't grab you about that person. To even invite them out for the coffee, that kind of thing. So the stepping stones, do any of you have like a timeline? I'd like to meet someone. So by the time I get to age 30, 25, 29, I can be on my way to saying, all right, I want to be dating seriously, into courtship, leading into marriage, that kind of thing. Or are you really now at the academic aspect of your life, pursuing academia and tying that into, your professional pursuit? Because we don't know if that's really it. We are having this conversation because we want to know, as young men, you have a target in mind? What does that look like?
Absolutely.
While we are over here saying, oh, a time now for Dylan married, in no see nobody. Because in our culture, so we roll. And you have to be very practical, especially when you're in Christendom. It is believed that the holiness is supposed to be intact. And you're seeing all kinds of women every day, whether it's on your job.
Exactly. I think it's particularly hard on the young people.
So I just want you to be honest with us and say, hey, here are some of the challenges. This is what I am looking for. So that, money, am I saving? Do I find that the woman I maybe have met, boy, she spend till she can't spend no more, me can't manage her. What are you laying aside for in preparation, so that when you meet her, for the dating to begin and the conversation, because I don't know how much conversation people have when they just meet. It's almost like you jump from 1 to 5. So between you're not learning about this person.
Yeah, man. The talking, from what I have observed, it's not a personal experience, but sometimes it looks like the talking, getting to know you, digging inside your brain, that's kind of like a lost art.
Yes.
I mean, my husband used to talk for hours. You just talk, you're not even upon the time. You just, and back then, I tell people, back then, we didn't have no video chat where I could look at you and all of that stuff. We they had no cell phone, and people were writing stuff. People were, when you met up, it was such a refreshing time. And you just talk.
Yeah. So we wanna hear from you.
Yeah.
We want to hear your thoughts and to be honest. So the women who are out there can say, I can nobody even approach him because me not ready. Pretty much.
I wanted to say something.
Yeah, I'll hop in here. I think, as previously alluded to, deciding that marriage is something that you want is the first step. There are examples, in the Bible of men who were married, right? Solomon, and examples of successful men who weren't married, like Paul. So deciding, right, is marriage something you want, and looping the Lord in as early as possible into forming you into the person that is ready to be a husband or a wife. I think it is never too early to loop in the Lord. In prayer is definitely paramount throughout this entire process. And ask Lord, am I married, right? Am I ready, or how can I bridge that gap between the person I am now and the person who I want to be on the altar? And first, as a man too, taking advantage of the single season. There are certain benefits to being single, right? You have as much time as you have the flexibility, right? If you want to take a mission trip and go away for 2 weeks, you can, without having to, check in with a wife, or, daycare for the kids or things like that. If you want to join a bunch of ministries as well too. So I think while the Lord is working on you, taking advantage of every single season that you're in is key, because there are certain things that you won't necessarily be able to do as easily when you're married. And you have to, when you get to that point, be able to say, all right, I maximized my single season in terms of giving or education, to the point where now where you don't hold resentment against your partner, right? Because you're gonna have to give more time to them. Even too, with kids, right? Saying to yourself, there are certain things you want to achieve before going to that next step of having kids. But I know, and I'm kind of going around a little bit. In today, what makes dating today hard for a lot of people is going into it with the wrong mindset, going into it with a selfish mindset about, I'm coming in to take, here's what I'm going to get for myself. When love is a giving action, right? If we go into the mindset of, I have a lot to give, I have a lot to share, I have a lot I want to express to someone, I'm going in with a gift mentality, right? And as before, searching for someone who has the capacity to receive love, to receive your giving, to receive your leadership and your knowledge, and your stewardship, that will provide a much more valuable approach than just to say, hey, I want X, Y, and Z. I want to get this because they will look good and because they'll look good with me. But if you go with the other set of, I have a lot to share, I am overflowing with love.
We can hear you.
Let me look for someone who is willing and able to receive that love and leadership. But that first comes by prayer, right? There's going to be a lot that the Lord chips away at you. Marriage is ministry, not only to others, but yourself. So allowing the Lord to mold you into the person as you're growing, as you're, your career, your job, and your mission, as you're getting a chance to learn other people as well too, tapping in and seeing where the Lord wants to take you from a character development standpoint throughout the whole process.
Got you. So what exactly would a woman need to do or to prepare to receive someone like you?
Well, I mean, for let's broaden it to like the man that they want. That's a great question. I think first, if you're able to be led by the Lord, being able to be led by the Lord in prayer and your own personal development. I think if you are grounded in the Word, ultimately we are all united by the Spirit. So if that same Spirit is leading you both, it'll eliminate a lot of the arguments, disagreements, things like that. Realizing that there also is going to be a give and take. So it's not always going to be about yourself. Realizing that you're entering into a portion of your life is not only going to be about you, it's about the partner, right? And if at the end of the day, right, let's say something happens to you, if you were to pass away or something happened to you, would I be comfortable and willing to hand over the keys to your wealth or your family in the hands of this person? I think opening up to those mindsets and those way of thinking, realizing that if I was never able to talk to anybody else ever again, would I be satisfied with this is the last person that I'm able to love and express myself to? So opening up your mind to realities that don't just involve you, but involve you sacrificing personal motives and goals for your children, sacrificing time for your partner. So I guess thinking of scenarios and ways of life that don't just involve you, I think it's a great first step. So that way, when you do begin to sacrifice, when you do begin to give more of yourself, it's not a shock and a foreign feeling because you just spent most of your life up until this point just thinking about yourself.
Gotcha.
So that takes, in order to find that kind of person, it takes a lot of conversation. So it's not just haphazardly just jumping into from a date to a marriage situation. It takes a lot of planning in your head, and you walk into a room. Of course, the first thing that's going to hit you is the attractiveness of the person. Then the approach. Yeah. Pick one out the crowd, then you approach the person and you start talking. Maybe talking to the first person, you realize that this person is not intellectually where I want them to be. They're not on my timeline. We can be friends. But I mean, you might not even say that to a person. We can be friends, but you continue your conversation with somebody else. And maybe that person just happened to align with every aspect of what you want.
Yeah. So let's take a quick break here. It's Saturday morning runnings. I mean, we are just talking to these young men, and we appreciate you and your vulnerability and sharing with our audience, because people out there need information. and sometimes they're not connected to the right people. And here you are with us saying, hey, as young men, this is what I want for myself. This is where I'm going. And it's for a young woman to say, all right, then some of us need to measure up, because sometimes young girls are not being cultured in a particular way. They're told that they need to find a certain kind of man, but they're not, the stepping stones are missing. So they make one huge leap. They make one huge leap without being ready. So stay with us, don't go anywhere. And when we get back, we will be hopping over to the chat, and we want to see what's going on over there. And, keep the conversation going. Thank you, young man. We appreciate you so much. Stay with us. We'll be right back. It's Saturday morning runnings. We there.
Minister Patrick Tyson and Brother Claver Schrouter, in collaboration with Sister Lemuel Hunt, presents A Taste of Heaven on Earth Part 2 on Saturday, September 13th, 2025, to be held at the Bronxwood International Church of God, located at 3232 Lurton Avenue in the Bronx, featuring Minister Judith Gale, Minister O'Shane Mays from out of Jamaica, Minister Claver Schrouter, Minister Dwight Schrouter, Brother Tajay Nichols, a.k.a. Singer Wayne, and Sister Shakira. Tickets adults $40, children $25. Doors open at 5 p.m. Showtime 6 p.m. sharp. Your MCs for the evening will be yours truly, Minister Patrick Tyson and Lady D. A part of the proceeds from this event will go to Bronxwood International Church of God Carpet Project. This event is sponsored by Cool Runnings Jamaican Restaurant. For tickets and more information, you can contact Minister Tyson at 347-961-6785 or Minister Claver Schrouter at 914-336-0623.
Ready for real talk and powerful conversations? Then subscribe to Voices with Lady D on YouTube, where culture meets commentary and the diaspora speaks loud and clear. Don't just scroll. Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and tap the bell so you never miss a moment. From laughter to legacy, it's all happening here. Voices with Lady D, where every voice has power.
Welcome back. It's Saturday morning runnings here live on Voices with Lady D, and we're having a great conversation with Dylan, with Kem Roy. Mike was here, but he had to leave, and with RJ. And these young men are sharing their dreams and what they want and what they're looking for, how they're preparing themselves as individuals. And I know a lot has been going on over in the chat, and we might as well just hop on over there very quickly and see if we can. There are some nuggets that were dropped. Can we piggyback on them, kind of thing? So welcome. I see Lorna here. She says Boaz wasn't searching, but I feel he was just observing his field. Naomi was searching, but was being humble. Okay, there is that. Then we have, let's see, because I have to pick out. Good morning to my sissy. How are you? Morning, Pat. Nice of you to be here. I'm looking for. Then Evol says, Minister Patrick, we need you on a show for more matured, unmarried people. Okay. Now Ryan says, test the water for chlorine.
No, Jesus.
Right. So Ryan Jackson says, you're preaching better than you think, RJ. All right, so RJ, there's some things that you're saying that is resonating with him. And Sister Morrison says, I love what RJ said. He's very deep. That is great. And there are several things you said, RJ, but something hit. Salome says, Dylan, thanks for the invite. I like that you're interested in me hearing and seeing your growth. I appreciate you. Keep on soaring. Compliments there, Dylan. Way to go. Eval says, yes, RJ, that's huge. One must know one's values, principles, and convictions. It's by knowing your values that you're able to identify similar values.
Similar values, of course.
Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah. King talks about, there you go, we should be equally yoked. That is a big thing. Eval says, I felt pressured and was even strongly and lovingly rebuked of waiting so long. and King says, look at you now. Lordy. Okay, he continues. Yes, Jackie and Ryan, look at me now, loving the wonderful married life. That's true. I think Ryan here is alluding to maybe the woman approaching. He says, no way, that's a man's job.
That's a man's job.
Yeah.
We're from the old school.
Yes. Okay. Lorna is asking if she says, sometimes a helpmate could present the question of marrying me, knowing the guy just afraid.
Afraid.
Yeah. Adrian.
You know, that's a discussion that could be had at a date, you know, like you go on a date and or several dates, after several dates, and you see where this could lead to marriage. You could ask each other, what if I propose? How would you feel about that? Or, you know, the guy could ask the girl, are you the kind of person who would propose to a man? And then the man could say, or the guy, RJ, could say, no, I'd rather it the other way. I'll leave it the old school way. I'll propose to you if that time comes, you know? So I think that's a conversation that could be had at a date.
Yeah, I think talking about whatever next steps and intention up front will definitely save a lot of confusion or disagreement.
Yes.
If you, as a man, you propose without talking to the woman, I think it's important to ask for, if the father's around, the blessing beforehand as well too.
Right.
If you just are going along and you randomly propose, you don't want to catch somebody off guard, as we see a lot of people do in the public proposal. Right. Talking about that as much as possible beforehand.
You have to get to a point where you're sure, where you're certain.
Yes, that you don't want embarrassment, eh?
But even before, go ahead, Sharon Z.
Yeah, I'm just saying, somebody once said, if you want God to laugh, tell him your plans. And it's good for us to have our plans and we sit down and we do a blueprint, you know, whether it's visible or invisible, it might just be in your head, the concept. But I do know that, you know, put prayer on it. The Lord knows the desires of our heart. The man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. You have your plans on developing and acquiring and all that, which is great. And I'm hearing what you're saying, RJ. What you're saying is great. But I know for a fact that it is entirely possible that you find you're in ministry. You talk about going on a mission trip, maybe. So in your mind, you may say, you know what, I don't want to necessarily be involved with someone, or someone may not understand my involvement or my desire to be so immersed in ministry. We spoke to the young ladies last week, week before last week rather, and one of them was saying the same thing. She was saying she wants a man who is also in ministry, because she's very deeply immersed in ministry. So whenever she has to do ministry of any kind, she would want somebody who can understand where she's coming from. You know what I mean? But the Lord has made us, has put us on the earth to together and to multiply and to have children and all that stuff. So in all the developing yourself and all of that stuff, put a little box somewhere where you would say, well, I'm looking, you know, I'm going to get to that at some point in time, because the Lord will know the desire you have, and make the paths collide. You may be here, you may be in ministry. I have to go abroad and be in ministry and meet somebody from here.
I was going to say that.
It took us to go abroad to meet each other, all because of the involvement. So all the talking and the planning and coming together, once you put a good prayer on it, and you say, Lord, lead me, send that someone my way. On our own, we can do nothing. We mess up stuff on our end. But if you say, Lord, send that person my way, help me to recognize her when she comes around. That is, the Lord is faithful and he will give you the desires of your heart, because it's not good for men to be alone. We want you all to be happily married. I'm happily married. I've been my husband for 47 years. From we were very young and we talked, developed, we matured together. Now we're getting old together. It's a beautiful life. So I'm just letting you know it's something to aspire to. Of course, by all means, the gold diggers and the ones who want to, only take and not give, and unfortunately, they can also be in the church. So it's not just people from outside or women from outside.
Who you think is in the church? People who came from outside. So therefore, they're coming in their ways.
Yeah, so keep your eyes open for those. But, pray. Prayer changes things, and God will send you the right one. But in the meantime, keep your eye open. One more thing. I personally know somebody who met his wife on the train. He was literally on the train. He saw her sitting. He was strap hanging. He kept his eyes on her the entire train ride, to the point where he was trying to muster up the
courage.
The courage to approach her. He passed, he stopped, and kept going. And only when she got off did he say, no, this is it. This is make or break. And he got off with her. And he said he went to her. I ended up meeting her, And afterwards, after all this, but he said to her, please don't think I'm a stalker or I'm strange or whatever. But I kind of felt you in my spirit. I saw you. I was observing you.
Right.
Entire train ride. I should have got off 6 stops ago, but I couldn't get off. Here I am because you're getting off. Can I have your number? And they started talking right from there. And today they are happily married, and it's somebody who is in ministry. She didn't go to
I love the story. I love this story.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Happily, as a matter of fact, my husband and myself walked in their wedding. They did a renewing of their vows 2 years ago, and we were able to walk in their wedding with them.
Yes.
Bridal party. So
I'm glad you shared. That, Sherns, because we discussed with the young woman, which applies in a lot of instances to men as well. We can become so focused, young men, on achieving and, doing us. And yes, in our mindset, we would like to be married, but somehow we will end up becoming so focused that we lose out. And we are not here to pressure. We're just saying it's a blessing when you marry earlier in life, because you can bond with your partner. Because we're talking about dating, but if you're dating and you want to court, then the next step is to ask a woman to be your wife. But people will meet each other in different ways. And I will quickly tell you, if you don't know, that my husband, he was married before. Then experiences of life, he sat out for a good several years. a few years. Well, he sat out, and then when he came over to our church, I met him, and Donna met him right in our office, and we just said hello, and he was asking about the church, and all he was doing there is coming to church, and we all got to know each other, but it's all platonic for the whole time. And then, we just know each other cool like that. Not a thing happening, guys. And then one day I just, talking to my friend, and she asked me if I liked him. I said, well, I think he's nice, but he has never come and said anything to me. And so she said, you want to ask him just out? I said, okay.
Yes.
But I just called him up. I said, hey, I'm off on a Friday. Would you like to, we go sit down and eat? And again,
hold on, so you called him up?
I called him up. But because we know each other good, it didn't appear uncomfortable.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
None of that.
It flowed.
And so, you know, we sat down that day and just talked and talked and talked. And as he mentioned yesterday again, that he saw me, there was no fluff. I don't go with by any fluff, but I mean, he didn't know some of the depth of me, who I am, my experiences, and so on. And he had to say to himself, but she know life. And so he said right there and then his heart started, he seen me differently.
Different light. Yeah.
Yes. And
I asked that fluff.
Yeah.
Listen to me, guys. I can't help myself.
And I believe
the picture. You should be in one of these boxes.
No, but true.
I think you're all talking about me. You know,
yes, we are.
As the producer in the back, I'm pumping up the question, but yes, that's when I fell in love.
Ooh,
yes.
On her inviting me out, because like we are saying, it was platonic. It was, but the great thing, I think RJ is hitting on some of these points, is really knowing oneself. You know,
right?
Know what you're all about. Know what you don't want. You must know whether you like Julie mango or East Indian mango. When you speak, you will make a connection. So yeah, gentlemen.
And just to say, guys, you know, even if you may, by way of culture, would resist a woman saying, hey, you won't come out with me, you know, method in every madness. So I was not overtly try to say, hey, see me, yeah.
Yeah, because to give him a little more.
I know we're running out of time, and there's something very, very important that I want to mention here, because a lot of time we tend to put it to the side as if it's not important, but it's really very important. This is for you young men. You have to think about your biological clock.
Yes, that's where I was heading.
Your biological clock is very, very important. Important for men and women, but I would say more so for the men. For the women who don't want kids, that's fine. But if you think you're going to need kids or you want kids, remember your biological clock is ticking, and time waits for no man. It's not waiting to say, okay, I'm going to wait until. No. So think about that strongly. I don't know who you guys are, and you don't have to say it here on this platform, but just think about your biological clock and the wife you're thinking of getting. Think about their biological clock as well. Very important.
You're going to find a perfect person, 100% perfect person. Because remember, they have a list as well, and it might not align with everything, but most of the boxes may be checked. Both of you may check the same boxes, you know, so you have to look at it that way. You're not going to find the perfect person 100%.
Yeah, gentlemen, I just want to endorse what Max is saying. Your biological clock is very important, and yeah, that's when you have good intimate relationships, when your biological clock is on point. Okay?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. And so Dylan, what would you say here in all of what? Because yes, you're not dating at this time, but all of you here, I believe, has a desire to take onto yourself a wife one day.
Yeah,
and it begins with one step.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, I guess even for me right now, it's just like trying to like set a foundation for it to grow on, you know. Like for example,
you're still young.
Yeah. Like for example, like I'll be dramatic a little bit, but it's just like, oh man, like I'm broke on the streets, right? How am I going to be able to, like, now if I'm struggling to take care of myself, how am I going to allow myself to be with another person and then struggle to take care of myself and them as well? So it's kind of like setting apart that foundation, making sure you got like everything, again, doesn't have to be perfect, but you have to ensure that you have some type of foundation for more than one person to stand on. Even if it's not perfect, then you kind of like build yourself up from there. So yeah, as for me right now, I'm just trying to like, I guess, build that foundation, set that foundation, finish grad school, all those type of things. And then I'll be more on, not like pursuing, but like more adept to those type of things.
Yeah, can I jump in there to Dylan? Yes, Dylan, I can relate to that. When you know yourself, you know that as a man, it's your responsibility to do certain things. And especially in the financial department, yeah, that's definitely our thing. But it can be a hindrance if you are waiting until you're 30, 40, saying, I don't have enough money. But what happened in my case, we had the conversation. And as a man, you are thinking that I have to do that, I have to do all these things. But when you're with the right person, like I was blessed to be with the right person, those financial burdens were not as prominent as I was thinking that they are. And so in our discussion, we realized that, wait a minute, I don't have to have the big car or that particular car, or I don't have to have a house. And then with the right person, you're sharing things together. So if those other factors are in place, we can deal with the challenges and the issues. Yes, absolutely. So don't be deterred completely by saying, I don't have enough money to buy the house and pay all the mortgage and all of that. It's a shared thing. And when it is done, it's a good thing.
And I believe honesty is important too, because if you meet someone and as the conversations are progressing, you're able to determine what this person is made up of.
And what are they bringing? What
are you bringing to the table? It may not even be much. Right. It may not even be much, but then we talk about potential in these days. You can see that, all right, they may not have what you're expecting, but based on who they at the moment, but based on who they are and the drive they have, together you can make those expectations and dreams become reality. I think that's
reality. But we're talking about
part.
Yeah, we're talking about building a life. You know, you're building a life. If you already have everything, all the nuts and bolts in place, when you come together, what are you going to do then? What else is there to do? You know what I mean? You want to build a life, probably, not probably, hopefully, all your interests and everything is in common. Because if you're a philanthropist or you want to do missions, Dylan is an excellent Bible teacher. I hope to God he finds somebody with that same kind of heart that they can really come together and do ministry together. So you're talking about building. If you find you have a young lady who wants you to already have the host, the car, the dog, that person is not that. You need to build together. So when you step back, you can see here, as the Bible says, hitherto hath the Lord helped us. We're coming from point A, B, and C, and here this is what we have accomplished. If you have somebody who already just presenting themselves, that's all I have is my 5'4" and 125 pounds, 36, 24, 38. That's not, that is no
and a pair of 3-inch heels.
Exactly. That is no substance. Somebody who is going to be in the trenches with you, going to build with you. Figuratively.
Very important. Yes.
Because then
when you build together, you appreciate more.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yes. So don't be,
All right, let me go back to the producer's desk. I'll be listening to you guys.
Thanks for the pop in.
You're welcome.
Yes, but guys, we hear your hearts, and you're getting nuggets here from Max and Sherns. They've been married for a very long time. And,
yes, we're all in it.
So, Camroy,
been there, done that.
Gonna wrap up soon, but what else? Because you were married before, and what would you be expecting from that young woman you meet?
Well,
And Kemroy, maybe if you really talk a couple of things as you can.
Okay. My answer is gonna be short. I'm not gonna be talking long. It's just too much. So, my experience in what I'm expecting, is somebody that living in purity and holiness, and is willing to submit to leadership from a godly man or a man of God. There's a thing called hypergamy, and I strongly believe in hypergamy. I strongly believe that the man should lead and be wise and smart and sharp and strong mentally, and have a level of, emotional intelligence. So a man should lead in every aspect, lead his life, to God. But that's what I'm really looking for. I'm expecting somebody who can submit to a godly man.
And how much submission we're talking about here?
Good question.
As long as the mind is being led by the Spirit, because divine order and structure to the kingdom. So, I'm gonna have to lead by the Holy Spirit. I have to be submit to Christ, and then he can know how to properly love his wife. So that comes first. You have to really be surrendered to God, and you have to have a changed heart and a renewed mind. And as I said before, I've been strong believer in hypergamy. So man have to have knowledge to share and to teach his wife and family and stuff. I believe a woman needs a man to look up to and respect, very, very big respect. So, so that's what I see.
And if I may just ask a follow-up question, and then we can, so submission from the woman is something that you are expecting.
Yes.
Are you someone who is open by nature, willing to submit as well, depending on what the circumstances are?
Yes.
Are you strong-willed?
Yes, submit to Christ and the spiritual leaders, which is, the pastor that's got.
So I'm talking about no. So let's so I'm talking about in a relationship.
Yes.
In a relationship, say you're talking to a young woman, you're having conversations and so on. Are you strong-willed in nature? Are you submissive? Because sometimes, some men would want you to submit, but they don't really want to do any kind of submission.
Yes.
So that's
you can't be it's my way or the highway. That is called beating up the woman with the Bible. You have some men who beat up the woman with the Bible. Everything they quote a scripture and said, you should submit, I am the head, so and so.
Right.
You can't be too stringent. You have to hang loose. You have to remember that we are flesh, we are dust, we are mere mortal. You have some people who they're spiritually minded and no earthly good. You want the woman to know that you make out of flesh.
Yes.
You can't be just stringent. And women these days, sometimes invariably, because a man may be a little bit more reserved or they might not be that forthcoming, the woman then takes on those natural attributes and she's
absolutely
seen as bossy, as seen as don't want to submit, as seen as such and so. But you can't just say submit. Both of you submit. Both of you kneel down and pray and say, Lord, I'm vulnerable to such and such. I am weak in this area. You have to let the woman see your vulnerability and know that you're sensitive in this area. Are you able to cry? Are you able to emote? Show some sort of emotion. We don't expect you all to be just muscle and brass and chest all the time. You know what I mean? We want somebody He's saying, how much of a submission are you also willing to do? Because it's a two-way street.
Yes. So,
yes, it is, because a lot of times in relationship, everyone has their strong points and their weak point. Like in my marriage, there are things that I am more strong, and there are things that Norman is more strong, and so we combine them together. So I help him where he's weak, and he helps me where I am weak, and vice versa. So it has to be like that. It can't be you doing everything and making every decision. If you're not good at writing a letter, why are you? And your wife is better at it. Why should you take on that? Because you're the man. That's what I'm trying to say here.
And send out a bad letter.
Yes. Absolutely.
Right. So we just wanted we wanted to be clear, Kemroy. Because yes, we want to be sure that okay, got you. So we're gonna wrap up soon, but what are your final comments, gentlemen?
Get back to work tonight.
Going forward, here you made yourself as open and visible on this platform. Starting with RJ, final comments.
Yeah, I do say today's world, it is definitely hard ever to build a successful marriage and even just build a successful life as an adult, right? The cost of living, the competitiveness of many job markets out there. It's hard to find work. The cost of rent, housing, just to get started. There was a lot less barriers to entry back in the 80s than it is now. So I do give my generation some slack there that many of us are trying.
I agree.
It is a lot harder, right? And not only that, a lot of the counteracting forces in society, right? The institution of marriage is not as celebrated out there too. So unless you're really grounded spiritually, and that's something that you really want, it's easy to get swept up away into cultural norms that are less committal, right? And not celebrated. But I do say in the midst of all that, I do believe that for every believer who wants to be married, and it is the will of the Lord to be married, God has a partner out there for you and lane when you get married, whether you meet on a mission trip, whether you meet in church, whether they find you, whether you find them. If it is something that you bring to the Lord in prayer, and that if it's in his will, it'll happen despite of how hard it is in society. So for those who are looking out there, stay faithful. God is still in the prayer answering business.
There you go,
so it'll still it'll happen.
Right. Yes. And as Lainey said 2 weeks ago, because we did a rebroadcast of their set last week, and she had said, when you're dating, enjoy it. Enjoy the process. Don't just see it as a task or something I just need to get over quickly. Enjoy your dating process. So, Dylan, what would be your final comments here?
Yeah. I'm kind of like relating back to, I guess, the title. It's way more than somebody just being attractive physically, or way more than what we could see sensibly with our senses. But the inner person, the character of the person, the way they carry themselves is very important. The relationship with God. We're all Christian men here, so we kind of have that type of bias. But like a relationship with God is more than just like, oh, like I go to church, but it's just like, are you willing to live in love? Are you willing to love yourself in the same way that God loves you? And I feel like that's also very important when it comes to dating. Like, one thing that my parents used to say this all the time, and I used to reject it and like get my life messed up a little bit, but really just valuing that, or even when you're in that dating process, valuing that friendship. Am I able to be friends with this person? Am I able to be cool with this person? Or is this just a person that, oh yeah, like I just want to marry and so on and so forth with, and just want to be in a relationship with? But are you willing to be in a friendship with them? Could we just go out? Could we just talk? Could we just like fellowship together rather than just like going into the flashy? Oh, let's go across the country and dates and dinners and all these different types of things. Let's or be just hyper like what's the word? Sexual. Like we could talk about that too a little bit, just like being just like, oh man, I'm physically attracted to this person, just want to do X, Y, and Z, but not really trying to like encapsulate or see who is this person that I'm gonna be with. And when is the slow day when I'm having a bad day? and I just need somebody to talk to. Is this the person I'm going to be, I want to talk to? Is this the person I want to be real with? Is this the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with? So all of these different aspects are important, and kind of like in conclusion,
awesome, absolutely,
we're in a very hard time of just, I guess, trying to date and stuff of that nature, but kind of like what we talked about before, like if you kind of like bring God into the midst of it, he could be the light that will really shine the path on how to do it properly.
Absolutely. So, thank you, Dylan. Wonderful, wonderful. Yes. Yep. Love that. So, Kemroy, your final comments here?
Yeah, my final comments is that what I see out there in the date world, so many beautiful women, so many attractive women, but what matters is character. And I want to say to both men, I want to put God first and focus on, deepening a relationship with Jesus. That's my final statement.
Okay. Thank you. Well, gentlemen, you did so well. We commend you highly. And Mike had to leave early, but of course, we thank all of you for agreeing to be a part of our runnings this morning, because in relationships is runnings. It is up, it is down, it even go crossway, sideway, but it's the runnings of life, how we meet, how we treat each other. Are we people who treat people respectfully? What does that look like? Some people weren't really taught. Some young men are not being taught how to be decent men, how to treat women with respect, the social graces, all of those things combined with the Christ concept, but not many. And I would hope, all of us here hope, that you are connecting yourselves to, influential men of substance who can help to steer you, because no matter what, for young men who are raised by women, they're not able to impart that masculine strength to their boys. And so you are a part of the body of Christ. You have your local churches, and I hope that you're having conversations. You have bonded with a few men in your congregation and in your social spheres as well, to be able to guide you accordingly while you stay at the altar and ask God to direct your lives. So, ladies, your final comments?
Appreciate you, gentlemen, for coming on. I do pray for you that you will find that person that makes you smile, that makes your heart light up. It's a wonderful feeling, and it never goes away. So the one that your heart longs for, I hope that your paths collide in the future. And Godspeed. Love y'all.
Yeah, and when I say date, I mean meet multiple people and speak to every single one of them. Have the conversation that you would have with one. Ask the questions that's burning you on your mind, because that's the only way you're going to pick at somebody's brain and figure out if they are going to be aligning with your morals and what you seek in a woman. Mm-hmm. Because young women nowadays also have choices. So why do you wait? They're gonna choose. They're even choosing their own, and we have to think of that reality too. So you also have to pick at that person's brain to find out if that's aligning with what you want in life, or you don't want that. You don't want that in your sphere, especially being Christian. Okay, but it's reality.
Okay. My words to you guys, we thank you first, most of all, for coming on the show, because it takes braveness, because not a lot of young men would have showed up for a show like this and to express yourselves in the way and the manner in which you did. So I want to say thanks for that. And my admonition to you guys that you may find the right woman that you're looking for, and that then the next show we're gonna have you coming and say, "Oh, I've been married to Joan, I've been married to Ellen, I've been married to Sue,"
Right.
and we can congratulate you. And I'm serious about that. We can congratulate you. So we wish to have you back on the show where you're all married, maybe with kids, maybe not with kids, but whatever the case is, it's positive. Thank you all again. Have a wonderful day.
Yes.
Yes, I have to get running myself.
Okay, so we've all said our piece. So Lovey says, RJ, you and Dylan, I'm going to tell you what I told the girls last weekend. Please, I don't want to be led or my teeth, them gone, or be pushed into a wheelchair to come to your wedding.
So don't wait for it to be late.
No pressure.
Remember, the biological clock is ticking.
No pressure at all.
And if you wait, when I reach out my age, you know, listen to me. The choices are this.
Oh dear.
Okay, so it's even harder.
Yeah.
So,
and let me just drop this one thing in here. Keep an open mind, because she might not be this. Could be a different nationality. Could be a whole different race. So, you know, don't vision.
Exactly. That's what I was referring to in the beginning. Go outside of the box.
Colors. Yeah.
Yep.
I've also ride on the train and the bus some more.
Hey, talking about train and bus, I have one more. And these aren't just stories. This is somebody I know personally. I know the guy. He met his wife on the highway. They were driving in lanes next to each other. Traffic was going very slowly, and he said he glanced over at her, and he thought she was beautiful, and he gave her the eyes, and she gave him the eye. At first, she was ignoring him.
Yeah, that's what you see. You're attracted to what you see.
Yeah, but traffic was slow, and he said they kept going, and they live in Atlanta, so he said the highway, was just backed up, and they were going very, very slowly. And he said, he just got brave and started mouthing words to her. And then at first she was coy, and looked away. But then after a while, there was nothing to do. Traffic was at a standstill, and they start going back and forth. And to make a long story short, he said by the time they kept going for however long, there was a little turn off, like a little strip mall, nothing deserted. But he said he motioned with his head to her to pull over in that little strip mall area. And he said he was hoping she did, and he begged her like this, please, let me finish talking to you. And she diverted off with him. And must I say the ending? They're the parents of teenagers right now.
Wow. That's a beautiful story.
Dated steadily for a while, connected, got married, and now they have teenagers.
Yeah,
look at that.
Sure, you have the most beautiful stories.
I tell you.
A good friend of mine that happened. He actually moved from the Bronx to Atlanta for work. So initially, he didn't really know anybody, but he was desirous for a mate. He was looking, and there she was in traffic.
So guys, you probably need to go in traffic more. And on the bus and the train. Okay, guys. Bye-bye.
Yes. So thank you, everyone. And we're going to run now, but we love you now. So we are going to go on round.
Me go up long time.
We see you come back down.
Okay, have a good day.
Thank you, guys. So we can go on round, go round, go along up, go down, go round. So go on in. That's how we wrap up the show, guys. We're Jamaicans. You have to love us.
Have a great day.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate all of you. Love.
Thanks
All right.
again.
Ready for real talk and powerful conversations? Then subscribe to Voices with Lady D on YouTube, where culture meets commentary and the diaspora speaks loud and clear. Don't just scroll. Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and tap the bell so you never miss a moment. From laughter to legacy, it's all happening here. Voices with Lady D, where every voice has power.
Minister Patrick Tyson and Brother Claver Schrouter, in collaboration with Sister Lemuel Hunt, presents A Taste of Heaven on Earth Part 2 on Saturday, September 13th, 2025, to be held at the Bronxwood International Church of God, located at 3232 Lurton Avenue in the Bronx, featuring Minister Judith Gale, Minister O'Shane May.